How to create a blog and email newsletter website with Ghost.org? Let's begin. What's up, everybody? My name is David. I hope you're having a great day. So in this tutorial video, I'm going to walk you step by step on how to create a high quality blog and email newsletter website using Ghost.org. Ghost I would describe as like part blogging platform and part direct response email marketing platform. Now Ghost comes in two versions. There's the open source CMS you can install directly on your hosting account. And then there's Ghost.org, which is the hosted done for you version. And it's the version that we're going to be using because it's the easiest way to get started with the Ghost content management system. So in this tutorial video, I'm going to walk you through everything that you need to know to get started. I'm going to show you how to customize your theme, set a custom domain name, how to engage in email marketing, how to properly blog with this platform, as well as all the little back-end settings that you need to know about, like how to set up a thank you page, how to set up paid subscriptions, and more. So if you're ready to get started, make sure to check the links in the description for timestamps and resources mentioned in this video. So let's begin.
Okay, so this is the type of website that I'm going to show you how to make with a Ghost.org account. So I'm going to show you how to adjust the background image over here, how to add in social share buttons on the left-hand side, edit and adjust your menu item, how to lay out the homepage with your various blog posts, how to set up your email list and offer paid subscriptions to your subscribers, as well as show you how to properly blog with Ghost, like adding in useful product boxes over here, how to embed videos, add in images, add in different subscriber boxes. And finally, I'll show you how to set up private members only content that's only available for paying subscribers. Anyways, let's get started. Welcome to my laptop. Let's begin. So this is Ghost.org, and this is the platform we're going to be using to build our blog and email newsletter website. Now, how much does this cost? Let's go ahead and open up the pricing tab right here. And for Ghost Pro, it starts at $9 a month. Now you'll see right here, get started for free. You can sign up to Ghost for free and you get a free trial. Now, I do recommend the starter plan overall. Now, you'll see 500 members. What's that? That means email list subscribers. How many people are subscribed to your email list? So on the starter plan for just $9 a month, you can have 500 email list subscribers that you can email as many times as you want. And also, Ghost is good at getting organic search traffic. So even if you built like a blog and it's getting like 1,000 visitors a day, it's still only $9 a month. It doesn't like increase in price the more traffic you get to your site. Ghost charges you based on how many email list subscribers you have. Now, over here on the starter plan, you get access to 18 free official themes. Now, the creator plan is a bit more expensive, but you do get 1,000 email list subscribers or 1,000 members. But then you get unlimited custom themes. So the theme marketplace, you can buy like a custom theme for Ghost and upload it to your site, as well as you can build custom integrations. So the creator plan really unlocks all features of Ghost.org. But personally, the starter plan is more than enough if you're just starting out. And over here on the right-hand sidebar, you'll see yearly billing and a monthly billing. So select the one that works for you. Anyways, I recommend starting with the starter plan. So let's go ahead and click on Get Started. Okay, so now you need to enter in your name, email address, and the password to log into your website. Now you'll be prompted to set a publication name, but it's not a big deal. You can always change this later. Next, click on Continue. And finally, you'll have to enter in credit card information. So it does this to verify and prevent spam and abuse on the platform. You're going to begin the free trial, and when the free trial ends, then you'll be manually upgraded. So you're not going to be auto charged. So again, you can start the free trial. If it's not for you, then go ahead and cancel your account, no problem. Anyways, enter in your information to verify and begin your free trial. And once you enter in your credit card information, it's going to immediately direct you to your dashboard and present you with this onboarding process that you can navigate through on your own time, or you can navigate down here and click skip onboarding because you're following this tutorial video. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and click on skip onboarding. Now it takes you to your dashboard where you can add or import members. So if you're moving from a different platform, then you can move your members over to your Ghost.org website. Otherwise, welcome to your dashboard. We're on the members section over here, and your members section shows you how many email list subscribers you have. So if you're just getting started, you should have no email list subscribers, and it's going to say start building your audience. Anyways, let's go ahead and add ourselves as a member. So click on add yourself as a member to test. So you can have a test email that goes out, and there you go. So now we have one member. So now we're over here on the left-hand side. You see the members tab. That's what's going on right there. So we have one member, the status, that your subscriber is on will be portrayed right here. So if you have like a paid tier, a free tier, it's going to show you that over here. It'll show you the open rate, the location, and when they signed up. All useful information. So now let's navigate over here to the dashboard tab, and the dashboard is going to display total members, both free and paid, right here, as well as your top sources. So like YouTube, direct, any type of social media platform where you're promoting your ghost.org website on, the number of signups, both free and paid, that you got within the last 30 days, as well as the engagement level over the last 30 days and last 7 days. So this is like a culmination average of all the emails that you sent out, because as you can see right down here, you have recent posts and then the title and then sent and open rate. So we'll say like we had 100 people. It'll say like, okay, this was sent out to 100 people, and it'll say the open rates over here. So maybe you had like 4 emails that you sent in the month, and then the engagement will be your average of the open rates, if that makes any sense. And so that's useful because if you're ever going to be dealing with like advertisers and you have like 10,000 subscribers, they're going to want to know like your open rates and whatnot. So, hey, my open rate's 40% or 50% or something like that. That's why you want to know that kind of information. Then right down here, you have a bunch of Ghost resources as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and view the site, and this is what Ghost looks like out of the box. It's quite nice. Nice big offer section right there, and then your pieces of content right there, then a final call to action at the bottom right there. I quite like it. Anyways, let's go back over here, and then we have our Explore tab. Once you click on the Explore tab, this allows you to explore other Ghost websites. So you have the featured websites at the top right there, your highest revenue websites, your most member websites, trending, and so forth. And once you build out your site, you have a custom domain name and subscribers, and your site's growing, then I would click over here to add your site. So allow reader only access to your site data. You'll be able to choose what data is shown publicly or hidden, and your site will be promoted across the entire Ghost ecosystem. So this is quite useful to take advantage of once your site is properly set up. All right, so now we have posts over here. Okay, so posts are exactly what they sound like. They're blog posts. So when you create a blog post with Ghost, you can either publish it on your website, email it to your list, or do both. Publish it on your site and email it to your list at the same time. And then you have drafts over here, so things that are not published yet, scheduled, things that are scheduled to be published in the future, then publish content over there. Now you have pages. So your pages are your static pages, like your about page, contact page, things that don't make sense to be categorized in any meaningful way. Static pages, again, like about, contact, resources, that type of thing. Okay, so now we have tags. Tags are functionally categories. So your tags over here, you should be categorizing your content within tags. And so the URL structure of a tag is going to be your website.com/tag/category title or /tag title. Then right here, you can give it a quick little description, and I do suggest doing that. And just like with WordPress and categories, that's what tags are used for within Ghost. So create like 4 to 7 tags that like kind of organize and your site and whatnot for search engines as well as the visitors, so they kind of understand what's going on and what your site is all about. And then again, you have your members right down here. And finally, if you click on Ghost Pro, it's going to show you your billing information right down here. So you should be on a free trial. When you're ready, you can just choose the starter plan to upgrade your account, or the creator plan, whichever one works for you depending on your audience, if you're moving from like a different platform already. And over here with this little dial, that cycles it through monthly or yearly. And over here you have your domain, so you can set a custom domain name right there. Then you have your support function over here, so you can just email any type of question to support@ghost.org, and they will get back to you within 24 hours. Setting up a custom domain name for our website. So let's get started. So let's go ahead and click on View Site, and this is what our website is looking like, and this is the domain name that it's using. It's using a ghost.io domain name. Now we want our own custom domain name. We want our own .com. So how do you do that? With Ghost, it's very simple. So you want to navigate back to the dashboard, navigate down here to where it says Ghost Pro. Go ahead and click on that. Then you have the domain tab right there. Go ahead and click on that. Then you want to set the custom domain name by clicking Set Up a Custom Domain. So once you click on that, it's going to say enter the domain name that you want to use. So just input the domain name that you register at a domain name registrar. And then you want to add in a CNAME record and an A record. Once you add in these DNS records to your custom domain name, then you just click on this activate button right there. Now you do need a domain name. So where do I suggest you get your domain names from? I use and recommend Namecheap for all my domains. And so right over here, they have great introduction rates for brand new customers right there. But to get started with a domain name, registering a domain name with Namecheap, just input the domain name that you want to get right here and then click on search. Okay, so I got my domain name right there. Let me go ahead and click on search. And then on the next page, it's going to tell you whether or not that domain name is available to register. If it is, you're good to go. Click on add it to cart. If it's not, then you have to click up top here and change and use a different word combination. Now, if this is your first website, I strongly suggest getting a .com. Anyways, when you're ready, go ahead and click on add it to cart. Fantastic. Now you can ignore all these upsells right here and you can just click on the checkout button right at the bottom. Once you do that, it's going to take you to the checkout page over here. And so you're going to see domain registration for 1 year. You can change that to 10 years. So you can get your domain name for up to 10 years in advance. That's often good if you absolutely know you like this domain name and you want to keep it, because domain renewal prices always increase a little bit every year. So right now you can lock in a domain name for up to 10 years in advance. Domain privacy, this is super important. And with Namecheap, it's free forever, which is why I like Namecheap, because part of ICANN regulations when you register a domain name is that you have to input accurate information like your legal name, address, email, phone number, like a lot of personal information. Domain privacy keeps all of that information private. And then everything else down here, like all this other stuff, you can just ignore. And then that's really it. And so also one little thing, you can have auto renew on or off. That's totally up to you. I personally leave it off and then just manually log into Namecheap to renew my domains as I see fit. Anyways, when you're ready, go ahead and click on confirm order. Then you're going to have to create a Namecheap account, then submit payment, and then you're good to go. Once you finish purchasing your domain name at Namecheap, make sure to navigate back to Ghost Pro and you want to enter in the domain name that you want to use. So I'm over here in my Namecheap account under my domain list. This domain name that I'm going to be using, David Tutorial. So we're going to input that right there. Now make sure to have the www in front of it. Now we need to add in these DNS records right here, a CNAME and an A record. So when you're over here in Namecheap, you want to click on the advanced DNS tab right there. And it's going to look like this. Okay, so here's the advanced DNS tab. Scroll down a little bit right there. Now this is where we enter in our record. So we want to add in a new record. So go ahead and click on add record over there. So what do we need? We need a CNAME record. So find CNAME. There we go. Click on that. Okay, so now we have host and value. So what's the host? www. So let me highlight this right here for the value. All right, good. And then www is the host. So just type that in, www. Done. Copy and paste that in right here. Boom. Now click on the little green check mark. All right, so you added the CNAME record. It's as simple as that. Now we need an A record. So go ahead and click on records, add new record, and we want an A record. Okay, so we have A record right here. Navigate back over here. We have A record, we have the @ symbol, and then we have this long string of numbers. Anyways, navigate back over here to DNS, click on the host, @ okay, and then the IP address, the string of numbers. There we go. And click on the little green check mark. Super hard, huh? That was so difficult. All right. Anyways, now we've successfully added in the correct DNS settings. Now we want to click on activate down here. Okay, so now it says activation may take up to 10 minutes. So it does take some time for propagation, so just let it do its thing. And it's been about 20 minutes and the website address for our publication is now set to the custom domain. So let's just take a quick look and yep, everything's working as expected. So we have the custom domain name set up as well as HTTPS. So we have a nice secure domain name. And it's really that simple to set a custom domain name with Ghost. Setting up a custom sending domain. So underneath this custom domain block, I'm sure you've noticed this custom sending domain option right here, and the default setting is a ghost.io domain. Personally, I would leave it alone. Deliverability is great. It works out of the box. You don't need to change anything. But if you really, really want to have your own custom sending domain, like hello@yourwebsite.com, something like that, this is what you need to do. So first off, you need to click on the setup button right there. And then it's going to give you a bunch of DNS records that you need to copy and paste back into Namecheap. So you have the type right there, the name right there, and then the values over here. So where do you input these? Again, you go back to your domain settings. So right here with the domain name, under Advanced DNS, scroll down, and then you just add in a new record. So for example, like the CNAME record right there is this one right there, CNAME, and then the name right here, that means the host. Name, host means the same thing. So that's where you put that one in. And then the value is this, the value right there. And then you just do that for all four of these, for this text record, CNAME, and this text record. Then you click on activate. Then you can set like whatever the email is, like hello, support, mail at your website, whatever. Now you see this right there. You may see lower deliverability for a few days as your domain warms up. That's why it's like, I personally wouldn't touch this. It works out of the box. Nobody really cares that your emails are being sent from a ghost.io domain. Like literally, like people are receiving this email. Nobody cares that this says ghost.io. Now, one little thing I do recommend is maybe you want to set up like a little professional email right there. I'm using Gmail and I have it set as hello@thewebsite.com. So how do you do that? Well, you just have to set up a simple email forward. Nothing too complicated. So once you navigate to the domain name that you want to forward from, so right here, so I have the domain name, and then you navigate down here under the domain tab, scroll down, and it just says redirect email. Then you just add a forward. Then what's the forward? What's the alias? So I want it to be like hello@thewebsite.com. So just hello, and it forwards to the Gmail. You don't type in the full email right here. You don't type in like hello@yourwebsite.com. You just put in the first part. Hello, support, mail, contact, your name, whatever. And then forwards to whatever Gmail. So it's going to be like with this domain, it would be like if I put in the alias as David, it would be david@thisdomain.com. And then just forward to this email right here. Now that's step one. Once you have that set up, you need to navigate to your settings. Okay, so within Ghost, you click on the little gear icon right there. Then the settings open up over here. Underneath your email newsletter settings right there, this is where you can edit everything. Click on edits. Then you have the email info. You have the reply to email. Then right here, you can set that as like the custom email that you just set up. So hello@yourwebsite.com. Click on save. And that's it. And then you can change the sender's name right here. So I would have it be more like your name, whatever. So you can customize the email info over there. And that's how this is working. Simple as that. So I have it set up as like the name of me is like Edge of David. That's how I have it set up on the back end over here. I literally have it typed in like Edge. Let me do that again. Edge of David like that. And then hello@thewebsite.com. So again, whatever makes sense for what you're doing, but this is where you can set that information up. So again, I just want to reiterate, personally, I would leave it alone. I wouldn't touch it, but if you really want to touch it, that's how you change everything. Just have to add in all those DNS records on the back end. I would consider setting up a little professional email because it looks nicer. It gets forward to your Gmail, or maybe if you're already paying for email hosting, then just use your professional email host. Depends on what you're doing. Again, just want to give you a bunch of different options. Anyways, that's what you need to know for custom sending domain settings. Editing and adjusting the general settings for your website. So when you're ready, go ahead and click on the gear icon in the left-hand corner, and it's going to open up your settings. So we're going to go through all of these settings to set up our website, starting with the general settings. All right, your title and description of your website. These details are used to identify your publication around the web. So just go ahead and enter in your site title right there and your site description. So your site title should be name of your website, a page separator, and then a keyword-rich description of what the website is about. So say we're writing a personal finance newsletter. It could be like a personal finance newsletter for expats or a personal finance blog for expats, whatever. Then you want to enter in your site description that describes what your site is about. So a short description using your theme, metadata, and search results. So it's quite important to set this up properly. And then when you're ready, all you do is click on save at the top right there. Next, you have a time zone, so you can change the time zone. Publication language, so set the language which is used for your site and your primary audience. So by default, it should be in English. You have your metadata. This is important because this is where you can control how your site appears in search engines right there. Typically for your metadata, I would have it be the same title and description over here. So if you click on edit right there, you have your meta title. And so that's the meta title that I have right there. And then you have a site description right there, meta description. So personally, I would set this up. I'd have the metadata and the title and description be the same exact thing. So for example, it'd be David's tutorial, for example, a tutorial website. We'll just keep that simple and make sure to like capitalize the A, capitalize the T, like capitalize your title as appropriate because it's the title of your website. Let me click on copy right there. We'll navigate down here and copy and paste that's in right there. Click on save. Done. And then you can just adjust again the meta description as needed. All right, so now you have two other settings here. You have X card and you have Facebook card. So what's this? Why is this important? Now, if I click on X over here, you can set a custom image to be viewed when people share your homepage on X as well as Facebook. That's why you'd want to set this up because otherwise it's just going to use the default image that you use on your homepage. So let me just go back out of this, let me X out of this and go over here to view the site. It's just going to take this image, whatever you set over here. So that's why you want to kind of adjust and have a custom setting for that. So let me navigate back there. Let's go to X card again. So a quick example would be like Justin Welsh over here. He has this custom image that he set up. So if I click over here and view his actual website, it's just, this is his homepage right here. And there's no image of him. Like this is a custom image that he has set on the back end. So when he shares his homepage to promote his newsletter, it shows this. And so with Ghost, you can do something similar. That's why Ghost is so great because you set this up over here, have a custom image and customize it for your homepage as needed. And then when you have blog posts, you share your blog post. So it's going to take the feature image of the blog post. So again, same thing over here. So if I navigate up top here, this right here is the feature image for this specific piece of content. And so Ghost works exactly the same way. You can have a custom image for your homepage. That's very useful to make it a little bit more high converting. So I would probably model after Justin Welsh over here. This looks great. You know, I hope internet solopreneurs, blah, 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 that kind of thing. I would do the same type of thing with my X image over there. And it could be any size. There's really no specific limits, but I would usually use something maybe like, 600 by 400 pixels, something like that. You could do the same thing with a Facebook card as well. All right, anyway, so your social accounts, you can link your social accounts as needed up top here for your Facebook page, as well as your X profile. You can make the site private if you need to do that for some reason. Then you have the staff members down there, and you can invite additional people on depending on the tier of your account. So why would you want to do that? Well, if you want to have other people publish on your site, then you can bring on other people as needed. And now for the fun part, editing and adjusting the look and feel of our website. So the way it works with Ghost is that you install a theme and then you get different customization options with your theme. Now, it's not like a proper website builder where you have a lot of control over the layouts of your theme, but Ghost themes look great out of the box. They're beautiful and high converting. And at higher tiers, you can upload your own custom theme. So if you really want a completely unique design, you can totally do that. So right now we have the source theme installed. I think the source theme honestly looks great. So let's go ahead and click on customize over here. And let's go through a few different options. So a bunch of different things. You have your homepage right there. And you can also take a look at the post page to see what that would look like. You can see right here, you have desktop and mobile. So you can cycle between those two just to get an idea of what your site looks like. And then over here in the right-hand side, you have brand and theme. So brand, you have your accent color right there. So right now we have a hot pink as the accent color. So if we take a look at post over here, you can see the hot pink right there. If you're not crazy about that, then this is where you change that as well. So you can change it to blue or whatever you want. Now your publication icon is your favicon for your website, then the publication logo. Now the publication icon is 60 by 60 pixels. Now for the publication logo, I would recommend maybe 200 by 50 pixels. So let's just open up a quick example over here. I know I literally created a logo that says example, but this is 200 by 50. You download it, create it in Canva, whatever tool you want to use. Make sure to download it. If you're using Canva, to download it with a transparent background. Then this is the favicon that I created over here as well, just as a quick example. But this is where you upload everything. So if I click over here to upload the logo, we'll click on example right there, and then let that upload, and then boom, right there, it's going to update the logo. Scroll up. There we go. So if you don't like it, you can just click over here to delete that, and then it turns it back to a text logo. Now you have your publication cover over here. And if you click on the pencil icon, it opens up this, so you can kind of edit and adjust with this specific image with different tools over here. So you can rotate left, flip horizontal, crop in the shape, filters, fine tune, redact, annotate, frame, and so forth. So you get a bunch of different options to play around with over here. You can crop the image in, redact, annotate. Again, you can do this on your own time, play around with it. And again, this is an image. So if you don't like this, again, you just click on the trash icon, then you can upload your own cover image. Let me go ahead and upload that. And let's give it a second to, there we go. So there we go. So now it's uploaded. And then I can click over here for the pencil icon, and then I can kind of, again, play around with like what I want to be displayed, all that good stuff. The filter, if I want to change it to like a different color and fine tune everything with the temperature over here, we'll make that like colder, things like that you can play around with on your own time. Then right down here, you have your typography. So you have your heading font, your H1, H2, H3 title tags, and your body font. So you have a bunch of different options. So choose the one that you like, play around with this, and there you go. So change the body font as you want to make something like more readable, and there you go. So by default, I think it's quite nice the way everything kind of looks out of the box, but you can customize the font and the typography right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on the theme, and right here, navigation and layout. So you have a few different options: logo in the middle, logo on the left, and stacked. So you can just play around with this to see which one you like the most. Then site color background over here. You can change the site color background. So right now it's white. If you want to change it to something else, you can go ahead and do that. Then you can choose whether or not you want the header and the footer to be your background color, which is the white right here, or if you want it to be the accent color, which is currently that hot pink color. So again, there you go. Sign up heading right here. This is kind of weird on this theme because it's changing what it says down here. So sign up heading right here. So you could say something like, I don't know, like you're here. Let's do this. There we go. So the sign up heading right there, using your theme's footer, and then boom, right there, final call to action, then sign up subheading. So we'll just type in sub heading right there. So you can see like where it populates that right there. Okay, so now we have, let me scroll up. Now we have the home page. So you have a landing page style. So with the offer section at the very top right here, where people will just enter their email to subscribe to your list. You can change that to other things. So you want to change it to highlight there. So you can have it highlight your best in class content if you want to do that. If you want to have like a magazine layout right there, it's fine. Search right there, or off altogether. Personally, I think landing is the best. Like that's why we're using Ghost, because we want to build our email list. So I have a nice big offer section like this with good copy at the top right there. So anyways, the header text defaults to the site description. So this is something that you do want to customize. So you want to customize this with good copy to get people to sign up. So it's like join, not great either, but something in that direction, okay, to get people to subscribe, okay? And of course, you can add in like little emojis if you want. So like, let me go ahead and look like hand down emoji. So take a look at that. Let's open up this one right there. I'll copy that in, jump back over here. Let's go right to the end, space, then copy and paste that in. And let's see if it appears. Yeah, there we go. So there you go. Then that directs the user's attention to this box right there. Okay, anyway, so right here you have the background image. So use the publication cover as the brand tab as your background. So you can turn that on and off. So up to you. And then right here you have post feed style. This is quite helpful right here. So you have list and you have grid. So grid is going to show as like a masonry grid layout. Then list, obviously, it's going to display everything as a list. So if you're like, what's an example of like a grid layout? Okay, this is a grid layout right here, masonry grid layouts. This is what a grid looks like. Over here, it'll be a list. So again, whatever one you like, just pick on that and then go ahead with it. Then you can show images in the feed. So if you don't want an image to be displayed, you can turn that off. Show author, show publication date. You can turn all these things on and off very easily. Then show metadata, enable drop caps on the post and so forth. So again, anything you want to have over here, show related articles. There you go. So you have a bunch of little different options over here. And then when you're ready and you're happy with all these little customizations that you made, all you have to do is go ahead and click on save, and then it's going to save all the changes that you made. Changing the theme for your ghost website. So over here under theme, you'll see theme and then change theme right there. And also show you your current active theme as well. So let's click on change theme. Now, these are the current active themes that you have access to that you can choose from. And you can also click on this little tab right here that says installed to see other themes that have been installed on your accounts. So we have the official themes. So it really depends on the tier that you're on. If you're on the starter plan over here, you get the 18 free official themes. You have to be on the creator plan to have your own custom theme. So unlimited custom themes. You can buy a custom theme or you can go to a developer and have them design you your own custom theme. So Ghost has its own dedicated marketplace over here. So the professional Ghost themes. They used to offer free themes in the past over here as well that you could download and upload, but they got rid of that. So it's all paid themes over here. But you can go through all of this. So newsletter, blog, magazine, podcast, photography, portfolio, the official themes over here, newsletter, like a lot of beautifully designed themes that you can just buy, then upload to your accounts. So we should take a quick look at this one right there. So bold, all you do is click on this one right here, and it gives you an example layout of what the theme would look like if it's installed. It looks great. You just have to buy it over here. So you click on the buy button, then it's going to take you over here. Then you download the theme once you buy it. And then once you download the theme over here and you're in your Ghost account, then you click on upload theme over here. Then you just upload the zip file. So you'll download a zip file over here. You upload the zip file here by clicking on upload theme button and you're good to go. Now again, you can't upload themes if you're on the starter plan. That's the only limitation of the starter plan. But otherwise, you have access to 18 great professional free themes that you can choose from. So if you're just curious, my current blog is using the Casper theme. So I quite like the Casper theme. The only thing I don't like about it is I don't like it doesn't have like a big offer section at the very, very top. But most of my traffic is coming in from specific blog posts. So I also created a dedicated subscribe page. So let me go ahead and show you that. So let's just take a quick look at this site right now. So by default, it looks like this. I love this. I love that people can just navigate here on your homepage, boom, subscribe, easy. But I went ahead and created a dedicated page that people can subscribe to. So you can do something similar if you want. So find your edge, enjoy life, click on the subscribe button, pops up with the light box right there, sales copy of why you want to sign up, and then another section at the very bottom right here. So again, you got to pay attention to your analytics, like where is traffic coming from? Because I don't like that there's no thing to click on at the top right here, but it's really not that big of a deal because most traffic is not hitting the homepage. Most traffic is hitting individual pages on that site. So anyways, broadly speaking, this is how you just update your theme and upload a new theme if you're on a higher level, if you're on like the creator level plan. Next up is editing the navigation for the website. So again, this depends on what theme you're using, but most themes come with a primary and a secondary navigation menu. So the primary menu is right here at the very top of your website, and then the secondary menu is right here at the very bottom of the site. So to customize everything is simple enough. You click on the customize button, then you can enter in what links you want. So you change the title over here. So like home, about, maybe I want to have this be contact, and then I'll add in a contact page. So these are going to be your static pages like about and contact. You have to create these pages, but that's how you add menu items. Then you can click over here to save, go back over here to customize, and you can reorder them as you like. And then you have a secondary menu over here. So you have the sign up button right there. You have another link to the site right there. If you want, you can go ahead and delete this. A good thing to put into the secondary menu, or it's like your privacy policy, terms of use, things like that as well. You have to manually create those pages. So let me just show you a quick example. Let me open up this piece of content right there, get to the bottom of the site. So I have like contact, privacy, terms, sitemap. Okay. And so your site does have a sitemap by default. It's found at sitemap.xml. So you can link to this page manually as well if you want. So again, sitemap.xml. But again, this is just what I've thrown in here into the footer. Contact, privacy, terms, sitemap. And so that's what I have as my secondary menu item. So whatever makes sense for your site, like affiliates, referrals, that type of thing. So that's what you want to put into the secondary menu. And that's how you edit and adjust your primary and your secondary menu. Next up is one of my favorite features that's just built into your ghost.org website, and that is the announcement bar. All right, so let's go ahead and click on customize, and we can add in an announcement bar at the very top of our website. So I'm just going to type in hello world. There we go. I want the background color to be the accent color, and I want this visible to everyone who visits the website. And there you go. That's what the announcement bar looks like at the very top of the website. Now you see this over here, you have free members. And if you had paid members, that would pop up under here as well for the visibility. So you can control what the announcement bar says and to who. So if you have like email subscribers that are visiting your website and they're logged into their accounts, then you can have a specific announcement bar for them. Or for like public visitors would be like maybe a Mother's Day sale, 20% off this, or a free trial for paid subscriptions to your site, whatever. Now you have a few other options with the announcement bars. So you highlight the text, you can bold everything as well, and then you can link to whatever you want right here. So if you have like a $7 product or a coupon code or whatever, you can link to things and offer codes, and whatever text you want to enter in, you can do that right here, and it will appear at the very top of your website. And then the visitor who's visiting your website can just remove the announcement bar by clicking X over here. Setting up your membership settings. So now it's time to add in paid subscriptions to our site and just start building out our email lists and so forth. Now, the great thing about a ghost.org website is that your website's ready to start accepting email signups right away. But it is a little bit of a process to set up paid subscriptions. So you just basically need to have a Stripe account. Then you connect your Stripe account to your ghost.org website, and simple, works really fast and easy. So let's start over here with our portal settings. So right here is where you can customize the portal. And yes, this is called a portal within Ghost. So let's go ahead and click on customize over here. And you have a few different options. So you have the sign up page right there. So this is what the light box will look like. So it's available tiers over there, display name and sign up form. So you can remove that if you just want the email. Personally, I just go with email. Keep it easy for people to subscribe. The more things you ask people to input, the less likely they are to sign up. But otherwise, that looks good over there. And then you can just customize little details if you want. So display notice at sign up. By signing up, I agreed to this, that, the other thing. So by signing up, you agree to receive a weekly email newsletter. Things like that if you want to set that up. If we click over here for the look and feel, you can show the portal button. So that'll show the subscribe button. Absolutely show that. I love that. This is a very useful feature. It's very subtle right there. Little email icon. Boom. And then user clicks on that and it pops up. That's great. I would keep that. You can change the text as well. And then the icon you can change to whatever you want. So you want like a weird fingerprint dial or an envelope, up to you. Then the account page over here is that the support email address will be this right here. So I would update that to the professional email that you set up previously. So when people like the reply to email. So like hello at your website, then have it be a redirect to your Gmail account if you're using Gmail, that type of thing. I would put that email right over here. All right, so let's click over here for the account page. So what's the account page? The account page is what your end visitor is looking at when they log in. Because to log into a Ghost website is very simple. Your visitors just have to navigate to your site and they're going to click on sign in up top there. Then they enter in their email. Then they get a login code sent to their email. Then once they're logged in, they have access to their account. So just say like account, then the user can just adjust things over here so you can change the colors and things like that. Not a big deal. The most useful aspect over here is the link section. So you are going to be wanting to use these links because you can put these in like the YouTube description on X, like social media, that type of thing, and share this. And then the user clicks on the link and it immediately takes them to the spot to sign in. So for example, like the sign in, sign up right here. So I'll take this over here and maybe I want to share this link. So people will click on that link as a quick example. Then it immediately takes them to the site with a light box that appears. So looks great. So that's why you want to use these links over here as well. So the link section is very helpful. So over here you have your tiers. So if you have like paid subscriptions, like a free tier, that type of thing, you can link directly to that, as well as like link to the account and so forth. The most useful one I find is the generic link right here for the sign up box personally. Unless you're like offering like a paid subscription. Like again, this is why Ghost is great, because maybe you want to have a banner at the very top right here, 20% off subscriptions this month or something like that. And then have it be an internal link, like link it to like this right here, like sign up monthly or yearly and have it be a discounted rate. You can do things like that with Ghost. Very useful overall. All right, let me close out of that. There we go. All right, so access right here. So set up the default access options for subscription. So who is able to subscribe to your site? I would leave that anyone can sign up, but if you want to minimize that to like make it more narrow, if you want, anyone, paid members, invite only, nobody, I would keep it as anyone. Like the point of using Ghost is to build an email list. So keep it to anyone can sign up, who can have access to new posts. So again, I like to leave that as public. And then when I manually write an email, I can choose whether or not I want this email to go out to paid subscribers or to be publicly available or to only go out to all email subscribers. So I like having that flexibility. So I like to leave it as public. And then manually, when I'm writing an email and I'm writing a blog post, I can choose what I want to do with it. Then who can comment on posts? So this is up to you. So yes, Ghost does have comments. So you can have, this could be an upsell for people of why people would subscribe to your site. So you can keep it as paid members only. And then that's a unique selling point, like why people would want to become a paying subscriber. You can comment on all blog posts and join the community and things like that. You can have that kind of angle if you want. Or you can just have no comments, or only all members can be logged in, which is also quite useful as well, because that incentivizes people to sign up to your email list. So you can keep it as all members. So totally up to you about what angle you're taking. Personally, I would keep it either as all members or paid members only, because these two incentivize positive behaviors that help grow your websites. All right, next we have tiers. So tiers over here is where you can set everything up. So you have the free tier, then you have to set up and connect Stripe to offer a paid subscription, okay? And it's pretty simple. So you click on this, and then you can customize the look and feel of this over here with the copy and whatnot. So you can give the tier a specific name. Then right here, you write in the description of what people get, and then where do people go after they subscribe. So the welcome page over here, very helpful to set that up. Again, you have to create a page on your site and create it as a thank you page. And so for example, right here, this should be like HTTPS, let's put that in, .com/hello or thanks, whatever. Create a page where you direct people to when they sign up. All right, so let me just show you a quick example. That may X away from that. So copy, like how you'd want to approach that. The title right there, you want to explain what people get, one sentence. And then you want to have like 2 bullet points at a minimum, up to 3. So access to this and emails on this. Then the benefit of signing up and becoming a paid member is subscriber only posts, unlisted this, access to that, things like that. That's where you want to set this up and have good, snappy, right to the point copy. All right, so, and then a thank you page. Let me just show you that. Open up that. So this is my thank you page. So edwarddavid.com/thanks. So when people sign up to the free thing, like, cool, you're in, thanks for subscribing, check your email. You now have access to this thing right there, how to log into your account, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. The point of a thank you page, again, you have a few different options. Either you can make this page into like a one-time offer page. So like offer like, hey, you signed up, here's my ebook, course, this, that, the other thing at a significant discount. Or it could be a genuine thank you page, maybe add a video of yourself or whatever, and just set the expectations of what people can expect going forward with receiving emails from you. That's the point of a welcome page. You don't want just people to subscribe and then it pops up saying, thanks for signing up. Like, no, create a thank you page and direct people there and set the expectations of what they can expect going forward with getting emails from you, or create it as a one-time offer page. Anyways, that's the free membership. Let me get out of this. Now let's go ahead and set up paid subscriptions for our website. Setting up paid subscriptions for your ghost.org website. So this is another feature that I really like about ghost.org is that paid subscriptions are just built in and it's not too technical to set up. Now, step one is that you need a Stripe account. Stripe is completely free to use. So just go through the process of creating your free account, entering your name, email, business information, bank account, all the information that you need in order to properly set up your Stripe account. Then log into Stripe and you should be looking at this. This is your Stripe dashboard over here. And the way you get paid is that all the payments from Ghost go through Stripe to your bank account. That's how the process works. Now, once you're logged in, then navigate back over here under tiers, then you can connect with Stripe. Now, the way it works over here is I have a Stripe account. Let's go. Now, it's a two-step process. You just generate a secure key and then you copy and paste that secure key right there. It's as simple as that. So let me switch on test mode right here. So connect with Stripe, and then it's going to direct you to another section where you begin filling out all this information. So right over here, you should have your account, okay? So like whatever account you're using that you just set up, your business account for your ghost.org website should appear right here. Then you select it, and then you go through the process of entering in all relevant information, and then you get your key. Okay, so a bunch of things that you do have to fill out. So let's hit that little drop down. So you have to fill out business type, personal details, business details, bank details, public details, and climate contributions if you want. Just fill all of these elements right there in order to get the key that you then copy and paste in to connect Stripe to Ghost. Now, as you're going through this process of filling out all these different forms, I know it's a little annoying and time consuming, just get it done. But public details is a little important right here, your custom descriptor. This should be the descriptor that matches either your legal name or your ghost.org website name. It's important because this is what's going to appear on people's credit card statements when they subscribe. So you want to make it something that's logical and people can look at their statement and be like, oh yeah, I know what that is, instead of making it something completely random that doesn't make any sense for your ghost.org website, if that makes any sense. Anyways, again, just go through the whole entire process of filling all these different forms out. Okay, so once you successfully go through the entire process, it's going to pop up with this secure key generated. So all you do is copy the secure key, copy that, navigate over here, click on paste, and then save Stripe settings, and then it's going to automatically connect. Great, so we are officially connected over here. Yes, it's in test mode, but that's not a big deal. We'll click away from that. Okay, so now it should say connected to Stripe. Everything's working as expected over here. So now we have this paid tier, so we'll click into it. Then you can set the name and the description, then the price point right there. So you can charge monthly or yearly. You can add in a free trial. You can display monthly or yearly in the portal setting right there. And you can add in specific benefits right over there. So again, like I said, 2, 3, 4 specific benefits to get people to sign up over here. But really, it's that simple to set up Stripe and Ghost. It's a little bit of a process, but it's not that difficult. And once it's everything set up and working, you're good to go. Analytics. All right, so right down here, after you set up your membership, you have the analytics section. So over here, by default, everything is turned on, and I would, in general, leave most things on. So you have newsletter opens, newsletter clicks, member sources. So that's useful because it tells you where people came from, where they signed up from. Like if you're linking to your ghost.org website in the YouTube description or X, or they came from like a Google search or whatever, it's going to tell you that right there. So it's quite useful. And newsletter opens is quite important as well, particularly as your newsletter grows and you want to work with advertisers, because then you could tell an advertiser like, hey, I got 3,000 subscribers. My open rate is like 52%. That type of information is quite valuable to help you leverage and market your email newsletter, and also just for you to know like what to improve. Like if your open rates are quite low, then you have to improve what you're doing. Now, right down here, you do have outbound link tagging. By default, that is on. You may want to turn that off, but it's up to you. What is that exactly? So let me take a look at this coming soon blog post, and then I linked to my site right there. And as you can see in the description, it says davidukey.com/reference equals David tutorial. That's being powered by this. So if you're like, hey, why do I link to everything? And then it has that weird reference equals whatever. I don't want that. Okay, that's fine. No problem. Just click over here and that removes outbound link tagging. And also, you can also export all the data as well, which is very helpful. And this is why I like Ghost, because it's like you own your data as well. Editing the growth settings for your Ghost.org website. All right, so this is a really helpful feature that's built into Ghost, and I love it. So right at the very top here, we have recommendations. Now, the way that this is set up is for you to recommend other websites and blogs, and ideally like Ghost publications, to recommend them, and then you'll get notified of who's recommending you and whatnot. Personally, I'd be recommending my own stuff. So if I have like a Udemy course or a Skillshare course or like a Teachable website or a paid product on Amazon or whatever, I'd be recommending it here. Let me show you how this works. So let's click on add recommendation, and I'll type my business blog in right here. There we go. Let's click on next, and let's click on add. All right, so this is shared with people who, after they sign up. So that's really helpful. People sign up to your email list, and immediately they're presented with a bunch of recommendations that they can then take advantage of. Then they're taken to your thank you page. What does it look like? Well, you can just share this link. I can literally just share this link on YouTube. I can make this my Instagram bio link. There's plenty of places you can share this. And then it's going to pop up like this. So it's going to say recommendations, and then follow along with a nice list of anything you're recommending. So I'd personally be recommending maybe like 4 websites, 4 things. A Kindle book you're selling, a course, something like that is what I'd be incorporating into the recommendation section. Next, you have the embeddable sign-up form. So that's pretty self-explanatory. You have embed code right there. So if you're using like a WordPress website and you want to be using Ghost strictly for email marketing purposes, but Ghost blog posts rank quite well, so you can be using Ghost for your blogging purposes, but whatever. If you need to embed the code for whatever reason, this is where you do it. So you have access to branded as well as minimal, as well as you can change the labels at sign-up. So there you go. Next, we have offers. Offers are very helpful because you can create specific offers to get people to subscribe to your website and become a paying subscriber. So let's go ahead and click on add an offer. So right here, you have the offer name, so visible to members on the Strike checkout page. So display title, so like Black Friday special, Mother's Day sale, whatever display description. So write something that makes sense. And down here, you have discounts or a free trial. So there you go. Then the tier, which like this coupon code affects what tier. So it's like some websites, some Ghost.org websites have like 5 tiers. If you have like one paid tier, then obviously it's pretty self-explanatory that you're going to pick the only paid tier that you have, then the % off that you want. And then duration could be first payment, multiple months, or forever. So that gets people to sign up and take advantage of specific offers. So there you go. Let me close out on that. And then finally, you have tips and donations. So yeah, you can just have a page that you direct people to if you just want to have donate me money. So, people will donate you money if you provide them an opportunity to do so. So I link to this page via my YouTube channel, as well as like the bottom of specific blog posts where I just say like, hey, if you enjoyed this, like buy me a coffee, and then just link to this. So the way this looks over here, let me click on preview, is that the user will click on this link. So it'll be website.com/portal/support, and then they'll be taken over here. Then the price point you change right here. So right now it's set to $5. If I want that to be $7 or $1, whatever, $3, then this is where you change everything. So right over here, then people are immediately directed over here, and they just fill out their information, and they can donate you money. Very, very easy. Editing your email newsletter settings. All right, so right at the very top, you have newsletter sending. So by default, this is turned on. Honestly, I don't know why you'd ever want to turn this off because the unique selling point of ghost.org is email marketing. That's the whole point of this. But if you really want to turn it off, you can turn it off right here. Now, next you have default recipients. So when you're writing a blog post and you're ready to publish it, you have a few different options. Again, publish it on your website, email it to a specific tier, email it to everyone, or just publish it on your website and don't email it to anyone. I always leave it as is. Whoever has access to the post, and I can choose who I want to send it to. But if you're typically publishing content that's only going out to like paid members, then you can just set it here by default, so you don't have to like manually make it send out to paid members only. Again, just depends on what you're doing. Then we have newsletters. So you have one newsletter at this time. You can add on additional newsletters at higher price points of ghost.org. Then you can edit the newsletter right over here. So by default, this is what the newsletter looks like. I think it looks great right out of the box. It looks very, very nice. You can change the name and description over here. So this is ideal, like if you want to create a branded email newsletter. So maybe your website is like your name, but your email newsletter is like, I don't know, the Saturday Entrepreneur Newsletter. So you want to call it that. Then write the description, email info, send your name, the reply to email as well. So you can set that there again. Then member settings. Over here, we have content, so you can set a dedicated header if you want. So if you want to have like a logo, put it in right there. Publication name, newsletter name, you can turn these on and off as you like, and same with the title, description, and the footer. So you can ask readers for feedback, share your latest post. I personally like doing this one. I like having the latest post at the very bottom right there because it looks quite nice. And I've noticed that people do click related blog posts and previous emails, whatever, and navigate back to your website. So again, you can play around with this and see how people interact with your emails. But I personally like to keep that one on. Then show subscription details. You can also leave that on if you want as well. Personally, I leave it off because it looks cleaner. And then if people want to unsubscribe, the unsubscribe button is right down here in the footer. So it's not like it's hidden. And then the email footer, so any extra information or legal text. So that's useful. Like if you're, say you're like writing a personal finance newsletter, you can say like, this is not financial advice, blah, 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 that type of thing. Then you can have over here, promote independent publishing. So you can link to Ghost if you want, but if you don't want to link to Ghost, then you can just turn that setting off. Let me click on close and leave. And anyways, that's it for your email newsletter settings. And finally, we've reached the advanced settings for our ghost.org website. So at the very top right here, we have integration. So you have 5 built-in integrations. The webhooks are already set up and they're good to go. All you have to do is configure them. You can also add in your own custom integrations by clicking on Add Custom Integration. Give it a name, click on Add. Then it's going to give you the API key right here. Then you click on Add Webhook, then set everything up as needed. Okay, so anyways, so for example, like first promoter, I'll go ahead and click on configure. Let's go ahead and enable it. The only thing I need to do is enter in my first promoter account ID. Then boom, you can launch your own referral program very easily because the webhook and everything is already set up for first promoter. Now you have import and export. So this is quite helpful as well. So if you're moving from a different platform to your ghost.org site, you can do that. If you have a WordPress website, Squarespace, Substack, no problem. And also you can also export your site content so you're not trapped on the platform. If you ever want to move away from ghost.org, you totally can. Then we have spam filters, then code injection. Let's go ahead and open up code injection. So right here you have your header and your site footer, so you can add in like Google Analytics, any type of script that you want to add in. This is where you do that with the code injection feature right there. Then we have labs. And the labs is very helpful over here. So a lot of these features are like beta features that are not currently launched yet. Like they're in beta, like literally like they say, it's a testing ground. They may change, break, or disappear. But the most useful one right down here is the redirect feature. And finally, we have the history tab right there. So you can view system, event, log. Pretty simple. Setting up 301 redirects for your ghost.org website. 301 redirects are quite helpful if you're doing like affiliate marketing and you have like a long affiliate link and you want to make it nice and tidy, like mywebsite.com/a-word. How do you do that? You have to use a 301 redirect. And unfortunately with Ghost, it's not built in to be nice and easy, but it's not too technical. Let's take a look at like a quick example. Say like I have this long URL up top here and I don't want it to be like davidtutorial.com/hashtag/portal/recommendations. Like, how do we make this nice and short? Like /go. Like, how do you set that up? So then I can share this on Instagram, YouTube, social media websites, whatever. All right, it's 301 redirect. So you click on the labs right there. You download your current redirect file. Then you open it up, edit it, and then upload it back to your site. So you're going to need a specific type of software to read the file. So I like to use Visual Studio Code. So it's found at code.visualstudio.com, completely free to use. So go ahead and download your current redirect file, and it's going to download the web browser. Just click on it and open it up. And then you should be looking at something like this. Okay, so it's going to say redirects.json. All right, so then you need to just start typing in 301 equals, and then you need to get rid of the array over here, and then tab, and then /, then whatever the URL you want your website to be. What that does is it makes it so it will be like davidtutorial.com/name redirects people to what URL? They need to just copy and paste the URL in here. Once you're done, you save it as a YAML file. So you have to navigate up top here, go to File, and then you have to go to Save As over here. It's going to be redirects, and then you'll need to change this to YAML. And then over here, little drop down, navigate to the bottom right there, find where it says YAML, and there you go. Then click on Save, okay? And that's how you do it. And then you can upload this. So what does this look like done? All right, so here's my active one that I'm using for my ghost.org website. So it's 301 equals /Gemini/Trezor. And then these are the affiliate links right here. So every single time I want to add in a new affiliate link, yeah, it's a little bit of a process. I got to download the file, hit enter, / like the name of the link equals, and then I got to put in the URL, copy and paste the URL in, save it, then upload it every single time. So I'm happy that it's possible with ghost.org, but I can't say it's like super easy. So it's a little bit of a process, but you can absolutely set up 301 redirects for affiliate links, and also just like the ability to take other URLs like this long recommendation URL and make it nice and tidy. Blogging, emailing your list, and creating members only content. All right, so let's get started. So over here in the left-hand sidebar, you have your post section. So go ahead and click on that right there. Now, the way Ghost works is that you write blog posts, and then when you're ready to publish it, you choose whether or not you want to send it out to your email list, publish it on your site, or do both. Send it to your list and publish it on your site. Now, to create a new post is very simple. You just click on the new post button right there. And this is where the content creation happens. So up top here in the right-hand corner, you have your settings. So this is your post settings. And right here, you can control what the URL is. So if I have this as a title right here, title of post, it'll automatically populate with the title right there. Now, personally, I would keep the URL short and sweet and to the point, focused around the keyword phrase. So if I had like a blog post title like how to create a website fast and easy, it's going to change this post URL right to this over here, how to create a website fast and easy. So I would like remove this little end part right there, and I'd keep it like how to create a website, or even shorter like that, create a website. So your URLs, always keep them, again, short and sweet. And of course, if you want to have like /blog/ post title, you can go ahead and do that, and so forth. Or maybe you create like a dedicated page on your site, and your page is like a specific category, and you want to have a whatever, you can go ahead and do that. So if I had like tutorial / create a website, then I'd have to go into the page function and create this page. I don't want to get too complicated, but you can do that. You have control over the URL. Personally, I leave everything super duper simple, just as post title like that. Underneath that, you have the published date. And then right here, you have your tags. So tags work the same way as categories in WordPress. So you want to create like 4 to 7 tags that makes sense for what your website is about. So if your like blog and email newsletter is about, we'll say like vlogging as an example, like a good tag would be, I don't know, like camera gear would be a relevant tag, not thoughts or uncategorized. Like you want tags to be relevant that makes sense for your website. Okay, over here you have post access. So you can choose to make your blog post public, members only, paid members only, or specific tiers. So Ghost gives you complete flexibility over this. So if like you want to post this and email it to your list, even people who are not paying, but then have it be private on your website, you can do that. Anyways, the post access, the way this works is public. Obviously, that means anyone can read the blog post. So that's ideal if you're creating a blog post around like a keyword that you're trying to rank for. Members only means the only people who have access to this blog post are people who are your email list subscribers. So they can navigate to your website and then they can log in and then read the blog post. Paid members, that's for people who are actively paying subscribers for your website. And then some specific tiers. If you have multiple paying tiers like silver, gold, you can choose who has access to what. So anyways, that's how this works over here. Ghost is very functional and gives you just a lot of control over how you want to do this. So like I said, you can have like a paid members only. So if you want to read this blog post, it's for members only, but maybe I want to send this out to my email list completely for free, whatever, you can do that. Now the excerpt, this is going to appear on the page for the site. So let me just open up my Ghost blog just to give you a quick example. And here we go. So this little sentence right here that appears under the title and above the feature image, that's being populated by the excerpt function right there. So that's what you would use this for. So it gives you like maybe like a little TLDR, whatever you want to do. If you want to have a little statement at the very top before the body content, you can go ahead and do that. And also the excerpt will be used to appear on the blog post itself, like your blog roll. So I like have a little sentence underneath all of these titles right there. That's what the excerpt is for. Then you have the author function right there. So if you have multiple authors, you can change the author, have two authors, whatever makes sense for your website. Right now, you probably only have one author, so just leave it as this. Over here, you have featured posts. You can turn this on and off, and it depends on your theme. So if your theme has this function built into it, what this will do is that it will pin this blog post to the top of your theme on the homepage. So people who visit the homepage for the first time will see your best in class content, as I like to call it. So if there's like a couple pieces of content that you really like, that you want to be sticky and have them be right at the top, first thing that people see, that's what this function is for. Not all themes have this, but if your theme does have that, that's what this will do. Then you have post history, then code injection over here. So you can have the post header and the post footer. So if there's specific code that you only want on this blog post and not site-wide, that's why this is helpful over here. Then you have your metadata, and this is quite important. So this controls the meta title and the meta description. So let me just show a quick Thailand versus Vietnam over here. And here we go. So this is a piece of content on my Ghost blog. And so this is the title right there, and that's being populated by the meta title right there. And then you have this right here, and that's the meta description, and that's being populated over here. The canonical URL will be the URL of the website, so you don't have to change that. We'll just keep this as is, nothing to really add in right there. And then you have the X card and the Facebook card. So when people share this blog post on social media, specifically X and Facebook, it by default is going to take the feature image that you have associated with the blog post. But if you don't want that feature image, you want to build a custom image for X or Facebook, that's why you would do this. You'd upload a specific image over here that's different from the feature image. Again, not something I would do, but you have that option over here. Then you have your keyboard shortcuts and then the ability to delete the blog post. Okay, so now for the actual content creation process, how to blog with your ghost.org website. So first off, you have the ability to add in a feature image right here. So just go ahead and create whatever feature image that you want, then just add it to the site. I personally would recommend Canva and then use the YouTube thumbnail template. That's what I use across my sites. And I find that that's generally speaking the best size overall for the thumbnail. It could be whatever size you want. You don't have to use that, but that's the size that I use right there. Okay, so now this is where Ghost is really powerful. So you have a bunch of different blocks over here. So you click on the plus sign, and then you have all of these primary blocks to use. So let's go through them one by one. First one is image. Image is pretty self-explanatory right here. You can add an image to your piece of content. Then next under that, you have the divider. The divider helps separate sections of your blog post. You don't have to use that, but the way I like to use this is I like to have like 2 dividers and then have this be like a resource section. So resources, and then like, I don't know, we'll say link 1, link 2, etc. plus sign, then add in another divider. It creates a nice little, again, section that kind of separates it from the rest of the blog post. All right, so that's the divider right there. Then you have access to a button. So the button's useful over here. So button text. So button, and then whatever you want to link. So it's going to give you a bunch of options that are built into your site, but you can link to whatever you want. So if there's something else that you want to link to externally, you just put in the URL right here. So I'll just type in HTTPS equals Google. There we go. Okay, so that's how that works over there. Now you have 2 options. You have the ability to edit, which is quite nice. And then you have the ability to save as a snippet. Like, what's a snippet? Well, let me save this over here. And we're going to save this button as button 1. You can call it whatever you want. Now click on enter. We save the button as button 1. So when I click on the plus sign, I have my little block right here. I can scroll down. And then right here, we have our snippets. Then you have button 1. The usefulness of this is that then you don't have to like recreate the button every single time. And you can use the snippet function for a wide range of things, which I'll show you. Let me click on the plus sign right there. All right, so next after that is the bookmark function. So the bookmark function allows you to embed a blog post. Nothing crazy. I mean, you could literally just do that with the URL. So if I copy and paste my URL over here, we'll put that in right there, paste, does the same thing. So the bookmark function allows you to do that without having to like search your website and so forth. If there's like a specific blog post that you're trying to share on your site within your content. All right, so let's continue on. So that's the bookmark function. Then the gallery function is you can upload multiple images. So let me control, boom, open that. There we go. So you create a little gallery. And of course, you have the snippet function as well. You can add more images to the gallery and so forth. So nothing crazy, just pretty simple stuff. Let's click on the plus sign. All right, so this is very helpful right here. The public preview and visible to members only. So this is helpful if you navigate over here and you have it set to paid members only. That means this top section will be available for free, but then people will be prompted to become a paying subscriber and to read the rest of the content. So a good example of that would be like this piece of content I have right here. So right here, I have the free preview, free, boom, right there. And this post is for paying subscribers only. I'm using this block right there, the free public preview and visible to members only. So that's why it's useful, because you can have, a free preview. People start reading, they get into the content, and then like, oh, okay, that's a reason why I'd want to sign up. Because by default, the way Ghost works is that, let's click on this one right here. By default, it's just going to have the feature image, then have a block right there. This post is for paying subscribers only. So it's a way to get people to subscribe, because they can read the content, get into it, be interested, and then be like, oh, be prompted to become a paying subscriber. All right, anyways, let's continue on. All right, so that's the public preview. Next is the call to action. So the call to action allows you to have like sponsored content, for example. Like if you're running ads to your email newsletter, this block is perfect. So it's like today's sponsor for this weekly email broadcast is brought to you by whoever. So you would have this like sponsor block probably typically at like the very, very top right here. Again, just gives you additional functionality, beautifully designed. So again, you have the sponsor label. You can upload an image if like you're working with a specific advertisers and so forth. And you can change the design over here, the background, the link color to like whatever you want over here, the button color, we'll switch that around, visibility, who is this free, or who's this free, who's this, who can view this, public, free, paid members, and so forth. And when you email this, who sees this, free members, paid members. So you have a lot of like granular, again, control over the look and feel. So anyways, that's why this block is very helpful. So again, that's how I personally would be using this block. So I'd be like, Today's episode is brought to you by XYZ Business. Use coupon code, whatever copy they give you. Okay, so that's what this block is for right there. So very nice. Put that more towards the top if you're working directly with advertisers. They want to sponsor content and so forth. Again, this is why you want to build your email list, and then you have that kind of leverage where you can start selling advertising spots within your email list. Okay, so let's continue on. So that's the call to action, and then you have the email content right here. This is super powerful stuff right here. So the email content allows you to have content that's only viewable in the email client, but not viewable on the website. So let me just show you a quick example of what this looks like. So it's going to be by default say, hey, first name. So when people enter their first name, if people are not entering in their first name, like if you have it set to only email, then get rid of that, okay? Because then it's going to say, hey, first name. It's like, unless people are submitting their email and name, then don't have that element on there. Anyways, so it's hidden on the website. And so, for example, here's the blog post that's live on the site. We scroll to the bottom right here, and then the piece of content just ends. Done. Okay, nothing else. Then start the conversation, and there you go. But if you're in the email client, we scroll to the bottom right here. I create a little section called subscribers only right there. And then boom, additional text that's only viewable in the email clients. And again, this is another compelling reason why people would want to become a subscriber, even a free subscriber. So the way I approach this personally, as I'll do something like this, subscribers only equals, and then right to your heart's content. That's how I structured this, and that's how I use this block personally. Okay, so anyways, that's the hidden on the website block, the email content. Okay, so you have a bunch of other blocks. So you have the call out block right there. So if there's something that you want to stand out, like a coupon code, use this at checkout or whatever, that's what that block is for. Then you have the sign up block right here. Very helpful. So you can customize this and put this in the middle of your blog post and at the end of the blog post as a way to elegantly convert people who are visiting your website. And so you can just customize this as needed. Okay, so you can change the colors and all that good stuff over here. So click the pencil icon, button color, background color, make it like black, whatever. You can play around with this. You can change the layout as well over here. So you can have like this on the right-hand side, add an image over here, wide, regular. So whatever you want to do. And of course, like I just mentioned previously, you can click over here and save this as a snippet. So like when you design this with good copy and the colors and everything, like you don't have to do it again and again. You can just save it as a snippet. And then whenever you want to implement it into your site, you just navigate down here to your snippets and click on the box. So if I click over here, and I'll just call this the subscribe box. There we go. Click on plus and then done. Saved as a snippet. So I click over there, navigate down here, subscribe box, done. So that's why that is very functional for that. Okay. All right. So that's the sign up. Then you have the header function. Header is more ideal to be used on a page. So the reason why you want to do this is because maybe you're trying to create like a little mini sales page within your website. And that's what this is. So it's like your H1 title tag, because with pages, you can actually hide the header section, like the title of the page, if you want, which I'll show you in a bit. So just as a quick example of using the header function block, this is what I'm using right here on this page. So I have the website.com/join, and I have a dedicated page for why you'd want to subscribe. So the H1 title tag, copy, the subscribe button added in right there, which you can do over here. So you add in the button right there, simple stuff. And then you add in the button URL and then boom, copy. And then at the very bottom right here, I have another header block sitting at the bottom, and I have it blend in with the color of the footer. So it looks like it's one thing. That's how this is working. Nothing too complicated. It's more ideal to be used on your pages. Okay, so anyways, that's the header section. Toggle right here. This is pretty simple. This is an accordion menu. So you have your title right here, collapsible content. So whatever you want to add in. So if you want to have it be hello, go, whatever. it'll create a accordion menu. So the user clicks over here to this little arrow drop down and expands it open. So personally, I don't really use that block that much, but you have access to it if you need to use that for whatever reason. It's typically ideal maybe for like an FAQ that's sitting at the bottom of a page or a blog post. Okay, so anyways, that's the toggle or accordion menu. Then pretty self-explanatory: video, audio, files. So you can just upload these elements to your site and so forth. So you can upload a file that people can download right there. Video content as well, if you want to have a custom video and upload it, your own specific video. Now for YouTube, you can just copy and paste the YouTube video URL and it will populate this section right here. Okay, so after that, then you have the product box right here. So you can click that and add in a product image, product description, and product title over here. You can also include a rating and a button. So it's beautifully designed and looks great. So let me just show you a quick example of that in action. So we got the Boya Mini over here. Scroll down. That's what's powering this right there. So I just uploaded the image and there you go. Then title, description, then an affiliate link. That's it. So simple and very effective. So you're probably going to be using this a lot with various snippets and so forth. So anyways, that's the product box right there. So again, just make sure to have in a title and description. Buy now. We'll put in google.com again. All right, there you go. Then you can upload your own image. Okay, so after all of that, then you have the GIF function, which is really fun. So you can add in just GIFs automatically to make your content more fun, interesting, and dynamic. So just add in that right there. Again, just as a fun visual thing, especially when you send it as an email. People do appreciate that. It's just a fun little thing to add in. Let me click on the plus sign again. And then we're down here to the HTML. So again, custom code that you can want to add in for whatever reason. Maybe you ask ChatGPT to create a grid layout of something, whatever. You can just copy and paste that in right there. So you have access to the HTML within the piece of content. And then you have this right down here. You have markdown language. So again, markdown language, self-explanatory. So you can bold, highlight, bullet points, and so forth over here. So this is the markdown language block if you need to use it. So if you want to add in typically like a list right here, you're going to be using the markdown language block. Okay, so I know you want to be like typing like hello and then go, whatever. And then I want to highlight these two things like, hey, how do I create that? You can't. Okay, you can bold it, italicize. If you want to have it be bullet points right there, unfortunately, you got to use the markdown language block. Not too hard. It's not like it's complicated or anything, but this is where you type everything. So like hello, go, highlight it, and then bullet points over there. And that's how you create bullet points within Go. So it's a little different. Okay, so after the bullet points right here, let's click on the plus sign, and then we get down to our embed functionality over here. So you have YouTube, X, Unsplash, Vimeo, CodePen, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and you can also expand that to others. Now, personally, Ghost is pretty smart, just like WordPress. Like if you take a YouTube video URL and you copy and paste it in, it's just going to display the videos. Same with like an X post and so forth. But if you want to have the embed function right there, you can do that. Then you have your snippets. Publishing content and emailing your list. So now that your blog post is done, how do you send it out? So very simple with Ghost, you just click on the publish button right there. Then click on the little drop down to expand it open. Then you can publish and email the piece of content, publish it only, or email it only to your list. So I'm going to click over here for publish and email, continue to final review. It's going to tell you how many people you're sending this out to, then publish and send right now. And it's going to publish and send out the blog post as well. And now it says I have 2 pieces of content published. Then over here, it's going to show you your analytics for the piece of content that was sent out as an email. It's going to show you the sent rate, open, clicked, conversions, and so forth over here. Anyways, that's how you publish content and email your list with Ghost. Next up are tags. So over here on the left-hand sidebar, this is where you can navigate to your tags. So like I mentioned, your tags work the same way as categories. So you're going to want maybe 4 to 7 tags for your website, make them logical and help support your site and make it clear and specific to search engines and visitors as to what your website is about. Now, how to edit the tag? Simple. You can just click in here to open up the tag page. And if you want to add in new tags, you can click on new tag over here. You can also have internal tags as well to organize your own content if you want, but public tags I quite like. Again, they're used as categories. So when you're creating a blog post, you can create a tag there and it'll appear over here, or you can click on new tag right there. Anyways, let's go ahead and click on news. And then this is where you can change the name of the tag and the slug, and then give it a quick description. You can also have a tag image. So the image will appear on the tag page. So let's go ahead and do that over here and upload that. And we'll click on save. There we go. Okay, so then we navigate down here. You have your metadata, your X card, Facebook card, and code injection. So simple. And let's click and open up the site. Let's go ahead and open up this right there. And then we'll click on the news for the news tag. And there we go. So you have the title right there, image that you associate with the tag, and then all the pieces of content underneath that. So another example on my live site, here is the tag title right there. And then a quick little blurb about like what this tag page is about. And then it just displays all the content for this specific tag. And again, just want tags to be relevant to what your website is about. But this is how you can customize your tag page overall. And finally, our pages for your website. So pages are static, like your about page, your contact page. They're pieces of content that don't make sense to categorize into any type of tag. All right, so to create new pages is very simple with Ghost. So you can just navigate to your page section. You click on new page right there. And then it's the same exact content creation process as a blog post. Now let's click on these settings right there. Everything is the same except for one thing. You can hide the feature image and the title of the page. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, I already touched on this because you want to use the header block that's over here. So scroll down, the header right there. Okay, let me just type in hello world, and we'll put in the subheading right there. Yep, I want a button. We'll change the button color to hot pink. We'll make it buy now. The URL, we'll just have it be a paid sign up right there. And I want this to match the menu. So my menu is white. So we'll go over here to the background color, and then we'll go to the color picker and change that to white. And that automatically changes to black. Again, Ghost is so intuitive. It's not like it makes me navigate to the text and change it to black. Just does it automatically. And there we go. So when you're ready, click on publish, continue to final review, publish page right now. There we go. We'll copy the link and let's go ahead and view the page. And boom, this is why you'd want to hide the feature image and the title. So you can have sales copy functionally with a button, all this good stuff at the top. Then with this page, all you'd have to do, again, like I touched on, is just build out sales copy with different blocks and continue on. What pages do you need for your website? So now your site is pretty much done, but there are a few pages that you're going to want to add in. All right, so I definitely recommend creating an about page. So it should be your website.com/about. So how to do that specifically? So give your page a title, then change the page URL to /about, and make sure that you have a good meta description and a meta title over there. So you can see right here, the title on the page is New Start Here, but the SEO title is about this website and the URL is /about. Then you're also going to want to create a simple contact page. So it's going to be website.com/contact. Now, I do recommend creating a thank you page or a one-time offer page that people are directed to after they subscribe to your email list. This is good because you set the context for what to expect going forward. And obviously, if it's structured as a one-time offer, you can also convert people into buying a paid product. And you can also use the recommendation feature that I touched on as well. So when people subscribe, Lightbox appears with recommendations, then they're directed to the thank you page. Now, if you're like, well, where do I set the thank you page again? Let's just go back into our settings, and we want to navigate down here to the portal settings. So it's the membership portal settings. Then we want to click on tiers. Then you click on the tier right here. And then you can create a welcome page. It's called a welcome page. I call it a thank you page. And you can create like different thank you page, welcome pages, whatever, for specific tiers. So this is the free tier. Maybe people are directed to one page right there. But then you can change where they are directed to if they sign up and become a paying subscriber. You can totally do that with Ghost. But you definitely want to be directing the end visitor to do something somewhere, whatever, after they subscribe. Okay, then I recommend creating a like mini sales page for your email newsletter about like why people should subscribe. You can also use this for selling a product too if you want. So if you're selling a course or whatever, here you go. Something simple and nice that you can set up as well. And then just your legal pages, you're going to need a privacy policy and a terms of use page. You have to manually create these pages. They're not done for you. So again, create a privacy policy and a terms of use page. And finally, after you create your pages, just make sure to navigate to site, then navigation, click on customize. Then you can add in pages to your primary menu and your secondary menu. So for your secondary menu, this is where I would put in the privacy policy terms and the sitemap if you want. And yes, Ghost does give you a sitemap automatically. So it's going to be yourwebsite.com/sitemap.xml. It's generated automatically. You don't have to do anything. And you don't have to link to this in the footer. I just like to because this helps search engines kind of explore and understand the structure of the website. Anyways, that is it for this tutorial.
Okay, everyone, that's it for this tutorial video on creating a blog and email newsletter website with ghost.org. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe and hit that like button. My name is David. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.